Hey, Pastor Tom Friedrichs here again from City on the Hill Church. This is number 2 in the videos. We're talking about grow groups, kind of a grow group primer. Last video we talked about why and looked at the scriptural reasons why God calls us to grow and calls us to grow together. And so the next question is, who? You maybe want, well, what does that mean, a grow group? A grow group is typically 2 to 4 people. So as much as you love your dog, it's going to have to be people of the same gender. And that's really important because I don't know about you, but in my experience, men with men are a little more honest about their struggles. Women with women are a little more honest about their struggles. And it's just more of an appropriate thing, particularly if you have a group of 2 people. And you may go, well, what about if the 2 people, what if it's my spouse? Yeah, maybe you want to do a grow group with your spouse, but I would encourage you to be in a group with someone beyond your spouse. I think spiritually, it's just really helpful to be in a group as a man with another man or as a woman with another woman. So I would really encourage you to do that. So we're with 2 to 4 people, same gender. Now the other thing I'd say about 2 to 4 people, 2 is minimum because if you have less than that, you don't have a group, duh. But 3 is really kind of ideal because it's still small enough where you all get to share, but it's a little bigger. When you only have 2 people, you can get pretty good at talking each other out of meeting that week. But when you have that third person, there's always one of you that's going, no, we need to meet. 4 people, that's maximum size. If you go to 5, the group's just too big. So I'd say if you got to 4 people, and we'll talk a little bit later about the missional aspect of grow group, but if you got to 4 people, you want to already be thinking about, is this group going to grow? Are there other people we'd like to invite into this process with us? And if so, then either one of us has to go and start that group with someone else, or we're going to go to 2 groups of 2 and invite another 1 or 2 people in and see what happens there. So 2 to 4 people, 4 means you're ready to multiply. Same gender. Now the other question people have, well then, all right, I get that, but how do I know who to be in a group with? And I would say there's 3 different kinds of people that you might want to be in a group with. And I'm not saying you should have a group of 4 with 1 of each of these. There might be seasons of your life where you have 3 of one kind or 3 of another kind. But I'd say there's 3 different kinds that you want to consider. The first, and I'm kind of looking at the life of Paul here. We could look at the life of Jesus. By the way, Jesus had a group of 12, his 12 disciples, but he also had his group of these 3 disciples, Peter, James, and John, that were with him most often, his inner circle. They were with him at kind of his high point, on the Mount of Transfiguration. They were also with him at his low point in the Garden of Gethsemane. But Paul, we kind of see 3 different kinds of people that Paul traveled with. The first was Barnabas. Now Barnabas came along early in Paul's ministry. There was actually a time, because Paul had been persecuting the church, that the other disciples were afraid of him. They thought he was faking them out to throw them in jail, and Barnabas was the guy who vouched for Paul. Barnabas kind of took Paul under his wing. His name actually means son of encouragement, and so he was an encouragement to Paul. He was a mentor to Paul, and so sometimes in a grow group, there's times in our life where we really need to be in a group with a Barnabas, someone who maybe you look up to a little bit spiritually, who's a little further along in their walk of faith. They don't have to be a spiritual giant, but they're a little further along, and they're in a place where maybe they can speak into your life a little bit. And that doesn't mean that they only speak into your life, because I guarantee you Barnabas learned stuff from Paul as well. So it always goes both ways. But a Barnabas, that's one kind of person. The other would be a Silas. So whereas Barnabas was someone who really poured himself into Paul, Silas, we don't hear much of that other than that Silas just traveled with Paul. Silas was the guy, when Paul got thrown in jail, Silas was right there next to him, chained up, singing his heart out. And so another kind of guy you want maybe, or gal, to be in a grow group with you might be a Silas. They're kind of in the same place, the same level. They're not a Barnabas. They're maybe a little ahead of you, but they're not necessarily behind you. They're just kind of where you are spiritually. And that might be someone you want to have in your group. And the last I would say is a Timothy. Paul also had Timothy, was a young man who Paul mentored into being a pastor. He, in fact, turned over one of the churches that Paul had planted to Timothy to pastor. And we have several letters that are books of the Bible now from Paul to Timothy, where Paul just pours himself into this young pastor. So I would encourage you, as you put together a grow group, just pray about it and go, who are the potential Barnabases in my life? Who are the potential Silases in my life? Who are the potential Timothys in my life? And then really pray that God would kind of lay someone on your heart. And the other thing that I would encourage you that might help you find some is kind of Jesus, when he sent out his disciples 2 by 2, he kind of sent them and he says, go in a house and kind of give your blessing to these people, pass your peace to them, and if your peace returns to you, stay in that house. And so there's this idea of a person of peace. A person of peace is a person that likes you. A person of peace is someone who's willing to receive from you. A person of peace is someone who's willing to bless you back. And so if you feel like God's telling you to be in a grow group with someone and they're just not responding, don't get discouraged. Just go, all right, this may not be the time, this may not be the person, but I'm going to keep looking, because there is going to be that person, whether they be Barnabas or Silas or Timothy, that's going to respond to you as you pray, that God's going to lead to you. I know early in my ministry with Youth for Christ, I felt God was calling me to be in this kind of relationship with someone, and I just didn't know who to do it with. And I felt like God was saying, go talk to your pastor. And I'm like, well, my pastor's busy. He's not going to want to do that with me. And God was kind of insistent. I said, I'll pray about it. And so I prayed about it. I said, God, if that's what you want, then you're going to have to put it together. My pastor ended up calling me, and he said, hey, I just want you to know, my accountability partner and a fellow pastor friend of mine just moved away. I want someone local, and God put you on my heart. That was pretty much God putting it together. So, and we had a great relationship. We're still friends, but we were able to minister to one another for 5 years during my ministry in Connecticut. And so I believe God has someone in store for you as well. Thanks for watching this video on Grow Group's Who. And stay tuned as we go into the what. Thanks.